Hey sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to BBallBreakdown. Game 7 was an epic game that saw the Thunder build a lead that the Warriors slowly eroded until they took the game in the last minute. At first glance, Kevin Durant had a fantastic game, nailing clutch jumpers and leading his team with 27 points on a very efficient 10 for 19 shooting. But if you dig a little deeper, we see he only got 5 shots in the first half, hitting 4 of them. Of course, the Thunder had a solid 6-point lead, but against the Warriors, if you don't put them down and bury them deep enough, they tend to find a way out of their hole. So let's look at why Durant only got 5 shots in that first half. A quick glance at the box score showed us that Andre Robertson took almost twice as many. That said, 4 of them were tip-ins and not shots generated out of their offense, so that stat is a bit misleading, but let's look at his other 5 shots. With Iguodala starting, KD was going to have to work from the start. They put Steph on Robertson, who ignores him to shadow Durant's drive. Steph bumps Robertson off to Bogut, and the Warriors give up wide-open threes on both sides to contain Durant. Poor choice from KD, and Robertson bricks the open shot. Again, Curry is ready to pounce into action and leave Robertson alone to help on either Russ or KD. The OKC offense is terribly stagnant, and KD draws 4 defenders around him in the paint. Another poor decision when he had Ibaka open in the corner. OKC did find success with a play they get once a game. A high pick and roll for Russ sucks the defense's attention towards him, Robertson cuts back door, and a good pass from Russ gets them a dunk. Perhaps they should have run this more often. The pin down for Durant is their standby, and you can see Curry gumming up the works by leaving Robertson all alone so he can pressure Adams into passing this, and Draymond gets a great block when Robertson alligator arms the shot. Now let's look at KD's shots to see what was working so well in the first half. Of course, the more fast breaks you get, the more chances you have for open shots. Russ makes the good decision to suck the defense in and make the easy pass to Durant for the wide open 3. This got me excited, seeing Durant post up as much as he did in this game, and there is virtually nothing anyone can do on this step back. This out of bounds play counts as a post up in my book, and look how he just elevates even though he had caught and stopped all his momentum for a second. Wow. OKC's rhythm on offense isn't always great, and on this play, after the pin down for Durant, he's got to wait for Cantor for too long. Watch how the defense reacts. Draymond is guarding Robertson, but since he's better than Spates, he comes up to defend the pick and roll. No matter, KD crosses him, and since there's poor spacing and no room at the rim, he just pulls up from 12. And again, in transition, you've got to find KD when pushing the ball up. Russ makes the smart choice, and KD does the rest before the defense can react. One reason KD got so few shots is his gravity. On this pin down, Barnes and Iguodala don't communicate, both run to him, and it opens Ibaka up for an inside shot. The Warriors defense also made it clear they'd help off of Russ to entice KD to pass it to him for an open jumper, especially if it was a 3, since Russ only shot 32% on 6 threes a game. The Warriors will take their chances. Anytime you see a possession where KD is standing in place, grabbing his shorts, is simply a terrible possession for OKC. That said, Waiters did get free throws. The offense also is very rote. Not much read and react. I must throw the ball here, then wait and throw it there, and so on. As a result, another possession where KD is just walking around on the perimeter, and the Warriors will gladly leave Robertson open under the hoop. KD does make the right decision here. Draymond is willing to leave the corner wide open to help out on the KD drive. Good shot fake by Ibaka doesn't get him a bucket, but it does lead to an offensive rebound and vicious reverse by Adams. And on ye old pin down that OKC runs so often, a good screen gets Iguodala out of the play as Zealy has to step up, and Cantor gets the bucket. This looked like pistol to me, where Russ hands off to KD, who then is supposed to get an inside ball screen from Cantor. But Cantor just stood there and then finally sets a step-up screen, but makes no contact, allowing Livingston to stay right with his man. With Robertson in the corner, Spates can help on the drive, Thompson can rotate to Cantor, and KD has no choice but to kick it out. Waiters flies in there out of control, and while KD couldn't get his shot here, Cantor cleans up the rebound. On this pin down for KD, he comes off pretty open, but because Klay steps over, Russ can't find a way to get the pass to him, and this isn't the best decision to throw the ball to Robertson here, who does a good job to kick it back out. Ibaka doesn't want it, and the offense completely dies. KD ends up standing there 40 feet from the hoop watching. Russ catches and just stands there way too often, allowing Klay to size him up and take advantage of the shot clock winding down by stripping him. While the Russ-KD pick and roll would be devastating on paper, KD almost never actually sets the screen. Check out the horrible spacing on the weak side, which directly leads to the defense being in good position to both help on the drive and smother the pass. The Warriors also got wise to the same action over and over again, and on this pin down, they just switch it to a denial. The natural flow of this set is a pass and handoff with Adams and Russ, but notice how KD again just stands there 35 feet from the hoop. Russ does another catch and hold when it seemed like the ball could have kept moving back to KD, but give credit to Russ for hitting this tough long two. And this set is an Iverson cut across a double screen for KD, but every time he ran it, he never looked for the ball, perhaps because the set calls for Russ to never throw it to him. So while KD is relegated to standing in the corner, Russ tries to get his game going. Yet another Russ-KD screen and roll where KD doesn't get close to setting the ball screen, and we see Klay perfectly willing to help one pass away off of Russ with hopes he'll get behind the arc and fire it up. On this play, OKC sets up a box for him. He can choose which screen he wants to use. However, look where Russ is. If in fact KD decides to use the Robertson pin down, Russ is way too far and on a bad angle to even attempt the pass. When the Warriors switch, KD could have flared to the corner for a three, but no way Russ could ever make that pass from where he was. KD cuts up to the wing, but Russ decides to use the ball screen to jack up this ugly three with loads of time left on the shot clock. Remember, at this point in the game, KD is 3 for 4 while Russ is 2 for 7. They run a set with KD walking around on the weak side and catch Bogut sagging too far back for the Russ jumper. Great shot. They run the same exact play in the very next possession. Russ flies in there and tosses up the miss. Robertson can't tip it in. All the while, the hottest guy on the court stood there watching from 30 feet away. Another pin down for KD gets him open, but again, Klay steps over to take away this pass. Russ needed to step up and get closer to Klay to pass around him. So this turned into a handoff with Adams, ISO by Russ when Bogut was on him. I suppose this is a decent shot, but not when he's been struggling so much from the field and it left KD standing around getting cold. Here's that same Iverson cut that is false action. We all know it because KD doesn't even bother looking for the ball. And it leaves KD standing there for a whole possession, while Russ attacks in isolation on Draymond Green of all players. At this point, the Thunder have a 5-point lead and a perfect 2-for-1 opportunity. Durant finally went back to the post, but with Robertson in, they can sandwich him. Strangely, KD doesn't cut up to the wing to get the ball, and they run a pick and roll, and Russ just shoots this in the name of getting a shot up for a 2-for-1. While the game was filled with all sorts of drama and fantastic plays by both sides in the second half, the first half was the moment the Thunder could have built their lead into something even bigger than 13 points, taking the crowd out of it and possibly winning this game. When you have the defending champions down and almost out, you've got to step on their necks. One thing for sure, you can't miss opportunities to get your best scorer and hottest shooter the ball.